let's go fishing. You know it's really great, let's go fishing. In the rivers and on the lakes, let's go fishing. It's easy when you try, floating on the water with good old Steve and Mike. Floating on the water with good old Steve and Mike.
Hey, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Let's Go Fishing Show. And Mike, it's good to have you on here tonight, but man, I saw something coming over here I really didn't like.
Well, I told you not to open your eyes and look up.
Yeah. There that moon is, looked like dadgum as big as I don't know what. Had one little old spot down on the lower left-hand corner that wasn't full, and I was thinking we was going to get to fish the moon, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, weather-wise, yeah.
Yeah, weather-wise and moon-wise too. We pushed our trip to Dale Hollow up a week, and so we were going to be, to start with, we were going to be down there this week, or actually next week, leaving on the 15th, and catching about a half moon. Now it looks like we're going to be in the dark.
Yeah.
Which that's all right. We've caught a lot of fish in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll just have to put up with what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And all this rain last week kept us from getting the fish any, and dang, it's just been a mess. Shucks, yeah, just pouring the rain 3 or 4 days in a row and all that kind of stuff, man. It's been tough, but we did get to go for a little while there. Like, what was it, last Friday night? Friday night, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then that's when Saturday's when the big tree fell and we had to go back into the tree cutting business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, keep your chainsaws sharp, folks. Yep. Ground soft, a lot of rain.
These trees are just loaded with leaves and limbs and everything. It's grown so dang much. It's unbelievable there. I had to take the dang shears and go to them where they were drooping off and coming down to the ground. You couldn't even get to them with the lawnmower. You had to beat your head off. You had to cut all them off and everything.
Yeah. So there's to say that had an influence on the fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, had us all messed up for sure. We got just a little bit of film there Friday night. We got the boat in the water, I think somewhere around 9 o'clock, 9:30, and 2 o'clock. We weren't doing too bad, just a little sprinkle here and there, and then about 2 o'clock we run down, stopped there on Pilot Island, and we didn't get to make 3 casts, so here it comes.
Yeah.
So put your raincoat on, hurry up, let's get to the boat ramp.
Yeah, that's right.
Get loaded up. We're going to get drowned right here again. Mm-hmm. So then we got down to Andersonville, between Andersonville and the interstate.
Dry as a bone.
Dry as a bone. Yeah, mm-hmm. Go figure. If we'd have known that, we could have waited 30 minutes up there at the boat ramp and went back out, fished a couple of more hours.
Yeah.
But anyway, we thought, just like everything else, it's just pouring the rain everywhere, so we'll go on in. Mm-hmm. But we got to Andersonville and then hit another little strip down below Clinton. On the other side of Clinton there, pouring the rain. Clinton was dry. Mm-hmm. And got down there between Clinton and 61 turnoff and soaking wet.
Yeah.
And then you got almost to my house and it's wet again.
It's dry at mine.
I know. So Mike, you're just going to have to toughen up. I mean, that's just all there are to it. We can't keep running up and down the road dodging this rain. We just got to put the rain suits on, the rubber boots on, and just go at it.
Yeah.
Turn the bilge pump on and keep right on fishing.
Keep right on fishing.
Yeah, if it's not lightning and thundering, just keep on fishing. Because it looks like we're going to have a wet fall.
Well,
You know.
I don't know. Usually October's awful dry month.
Yeah.
We'll see what it does.
I hope you're right. You know.
Looks like we dodged a bullet on the hurricane, and that one that's turned up north, and looks like it's going to go all the way up to Canada maybe, and that other one, I'm not sure what it's going to do and stuff, but may not get nothing off of it either.
Okay. All righty, we got just a little bit of film, and we're going to show it, get that behind us, and move on to bigger and better things. What do you think, Mike?
That'd be fine. Looks good.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. Ready, Chandler? All right, anytime you're ready, bud.
North Lake right again. They say it's tough. We're gonna unsolve that tonight.
Yeah, boy, we got to figure that out, Bill.
Yes, sir, Rio, buddy.
Well, now, Bill, what was it about your Tennessee shirt?
Oh yeah, my Tennessee shirt. I get to watch the Tennessee football game Thursday night, and fishing with Steve and Mike on Thursday night too. I get to watch everything.
All right.
Yeah, let's go fishing and with Steve and Mike, and Tennessee plays football this coming Thursday night too.
Yeah.
So everything is working out fine for old Billy Boy.
All right, Bill. Well, listen, waters went down a little bit. We've been struggling. We've been struggling here the last few trips, and Mike was up here last night, and we hope he'll show back up. Said he didn't get a bite, so we got to figure out something, don't we, Bill?
We got to figure them out here, son.
Yeah, for sure. All right, folks, stay tuned. We hope to get some fish on the hook here in a little bit, and oh, something happened, Chandler. All right. You need us to take a minute here and let you get set up?
Okay.
Okay, the camera's off. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold it. I gave you a dead battery. We'll get you fixed up there in just a minute.
Okay.
Mike, step out there and while we're doing this, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll talk a minute here.
You do your thing.
Yeah. What I wanted to talk about was putting line on these reels. When you got a bait caster, you don't need to pull it off the reel or off the spool that you buy it on, spinning off the side of it, because it twists your line up on your reel. And you have to let it all out in the water and stretch it all back out, and get the twist out of it and wind it back up on your bait caster. And a lot of people don't realize that when you're using a spinning rod, it twists the line up as you're winding it. And you go to taking it off your spool, and that depends on the size of the spool on the reel too. But you go to taking it, if the wind on your reel is going clockwise, then you need to be taking it off of here counterclockwise to where it don't twist it up as bad, but it's still going to twist it up. The best thing to do is try to get you some kind of little pin made and cross drill it to where you can slide it inside your spool on your for your reel, and get you a little drill, chuck it up on there so you can spin it pretty slow and pull it off just like you would a dang casting reel where it rolls off straight and rolls on here straight. Because when you throw it out, it spins like spins clockwise as you throw it out, and then when you wind it back up, it takes the twist back out of it. There's a whole lot of little tricks to that because the spool diameters on these spinning rods, the smaller the spool is, the more it twists your line up. When you try to take it off of a big spool, a line like that, it twists it up twice as bad. So that's the reason you need to try to figure out how to roll it on there like you would a casting rod. Keep it from twisting up so bad, because even after you fish a spinning rod a while, you're better off to cut everything off of it and just let your line out and stretch it out behind the boat, and then rewind it back up on there, keeping your rod down next to the water where it'll take all the twist out of it as you wind it back up on the spool. Because every time we go to the lake, that's the first thing Steve's hollering, says, I need to stretch this line. I got to stretch this line. I said, yeah. Because next thing you know, you throw it, and it's just got a big old bird's nest out through the eyes of it there where it's got twisted up. And your closed spaces, reels, is just as bad about twisting it up when you put it on a closed space, just like a spinning rod. So if you can, we made a little old deal, found the right size, a little old piece of metal bar there, and cross drilled it and put a little T in it to where it'd grip into the back of the spool, and that way you could put it on a drill and spin it back full. So we usually fill the spool up most of the time halfway on the casting rod or spinning rod, either one, with some kind of filler line, we call it, and then tie it together and put some fresh line on top, and then every time you get down to where you're getting right at that knot or something, then you can time to put a new line on, and you ain't, because the smaller the line gets off of this here, the more it twists. Same way with your bait caster there, once it gets down, that's that much faster that spool's got to spin whenever you cast it than what it is if it's full. Because the amount of line you're taking up when your spool turns, that thing being smaller makes it have to go twice as fast to take up the same amount of line.
Well, now, Mike, there's something about the spinning reels and your line twisting. It's all about the way you cast. If you take a spinning reel, for example, and I do like to fish with them, I don't have a bit of problem, at certain times of the year. When we're throwing 17, 20-pound test line on a half ounce or 3/4 ounce bait, yeah, you're parrot fishing. But when I'm throwing the 6-pound test, I'm finesse fishing.
Yeah.
And if you'll watch, and if you're casting a spinning rod and reel with a 3/16 ounce head, that thing, a lot of times, if you don't do it just right, it twists as it goes out. Well, that's part of putting that twist on your line, what causes that to twist up. And but if you'll get out there, or in the daylight and really watch that bait, then you get a rhythm, and you get to where how you need to cast that 3/16 ounce bucktail fly. It goes just like a bullet. But if you don't get it just right every time, it comes out twisting. Well, when you fish with it all day long, it's got a lot of twist in it. So yeah, I've many a time put the boat in the water, cut my baits off, run across from Anderson County Park all the way over to Rainbow, get into the buoys, slow down, drag my line, and it'd be just as, I mean, it would work perfect. You know, that was the way. That's our way of taking them twists out of off of a spinning reel. Drag it behind the boat. Cut your bait off. Throw that thing. Flip that. Feed some line off there. Get it in the water. Get it back there. Shucks. And, I mean, I've run it all the way to the filler line.
Mm-hmm.
Click the bail in, hold on, let Mike speed up a little bit, and then start winding it in, and it's just like new line every time.
It helps it, but still yet, when you wind it on straight and when you throw
I
it,
agree.
it's crooked.
Yeah, well,
amazing.
it's the same way with a
And
spinning.
and then it straightens out as you wind it back on there.
A bait caster is just like, you know, a spinning reel. It's coming up on, when you wind it on a spin, that's why I like to go over to Edgemore and get on that line machine.
Well, that's what I'm telling you here. Put it on the drill
Yeah,
with the
that's
thing
right,
and roll
and
it
roll
on
it right
straight,
off,
just
just-
like you would a bait caster.
Yeah, that's, you know,
But when
that's
you
the way
throw
we
it,
do.
it's going to twist off of there. And then when
Well,
you
it
wind
does.
it back on, it's supposed to take the twist back out of it. But
Yeah,
like you say, now the baits will twist one up too.
that's what I'm talking about.
Even like you fish a worm or something, of course a crankbait or a top water plug ain't gonna be that way, or a big jig usually ain't that way. But you get something put on there like a Texas rig or something, if you ain't got it good and straight on there, whenever you go to wind it in, it'll go to twisting on you. And next thing you know, your line's twisted up. That's the reason, even when you're fishing for crappie, with the bell sinker and stuff with a swivel on it and then a swivel tied above your hook, it still tries to twist up on you, because when you bring them minnows up, they'll want to twist that line up. You wind them up, so you know you got to figure out how to try to keep your twist out of your lines
Yep.
when you're fishing.
Well,
But some baits just naturally do that, and especially if they ain't good and straight on the hook. Whether you're fishing a worm or a brush hog or a little grub or anything on there, it's subject to twist it up if it ain't put on the hook straight.
well, I agree with that part of it. Yeah, that thing will come back to you just doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but now let me ask you something, Mike. How many bugs or what have you that Mother Nature has created do you see coming back through the water like this? None. Okay, so why do you go out there and hook your bait up where it's going like this when you bring it in?
I mean, you try not to, but you know sometimes
Well, then
when
that's what you better take, yeah.
You jerk and set the hook or something, and then you get your bait slides down, or something happens, just like your pork rind gets hooked around your hook on your jig, and then when you go to winding it in, it'll come back and it'll go turning circles because it won't lay flat to where it can come through the water, and you know, it'll put twist and stuff. So you got to try to get it back out of it by dragging it behind the boat.
Yeah.
And even you bait casters, and get your line tight back on your spool and everything.
Well, that's exactly true. So, but yeah, you know, everything needs to be in alignment so that
Yeah,
the bait
that's right.
falls natural.
Oh yeah, yes sir,
You know,
yes sir.
and,
There's, a lot of them it puts a line on. They want to put it on a bait caster. They'll put a rag around it and wind and keep a little tension on it, but rub all that powder off that line, because when they put a powder on the line to keep it from sun from decaying it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You need to, if you're storing any spools of line somewhere, you need to put them in the dark. They make that box that you can put your line in, where your spool will roll off straight. in there. But the main thing, it keeps it in the dark to where the sunlight don't get to it. That sunlight is usually the biggest enemy to your line. That it causes it to weaken it and go bad.
Yeah. There's no two ways about it. That ultraviolet rays on that fishing line does have an effect on it. There's no two ways about it. It could cause it to weaken and take the fluorescence out of it. You know, it won't light up for you and that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, you need to watch about talking about my spinning reels, Mike. Yeah, I may show you what them things will do out here in about a week, 2 weeks.
He's all right till I hear it say "flew" up through there, and it just gummed up in all the eyes, and then he's fussing. Grab hold of my line and pull it here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we have them little kind of incidents at times out there.
Yeah,
you can't never tell, you know.
And I know, they just like the backlash on a casting reel.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly right. You can. Somebody tells you they never backlash, don't believe them.
I don't backlash.
Yeah, right. Well, it's because you're dropping straight off the reel down the side of the boat, that big old 3/4 ounce sinker. I know exactly how you fish.
I quit calling it a backlash. It's a professional overrun.
Yeah, well, anyway, they yeah, if they tell you they don't professionally overrun, then they told you the wrong thing.
Yeah, you start throwing in the wind and
that's right.
things like
exactly right. Yeah.
Throwing the lighter baits and one thing and another. Things will happen that way.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's just part of it, you know. Yeah, and you're not going to make a perfect cast every time, and you are if you're watching the fishing shows on Saturday and or on Sunday, Sunday replays, you're there pulling that line off that reel where they backlashed. Yeah, so they, you know, it's like I said.
They claim they do it so it'll fall straight down.
Oh yeah. Well, they can claim whatever they want to, but they're backlashed. That's the deal. But yeah, you know, there's like Mike said, spooling that line up. You know, like he showed you, we got a little old shaft there that we put in the spool and put it in the drill and come straight off the spool, straight on the spinning reel. That way, because if you wind it all up on the reel, you know, off of a spool, then when you get to the lake, you better drag her behind the boat.
Yeah, and if you
get all the wraps off.
If
of
you
it.
go opposite of what it is,
yeah,
on here it twists it up even more.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, and. I mean, you know, we tried about everything in the world. Throw it out in the water, wind it on that way. That didn't help much. Shucks, take off down the yard with one end of it. Oh, that's plenty. Cut it off, tie it on your spool, and go to wind it back in. Yeah, that didn't help much either. You know, you had to get, when you got to the lake, you just throw it behind the boat and drag it out. But we have that, dragging it behind your boat is probably the best thing to, if you've got some line on your spinning reel and you know it's twisted up, cut your bait off, put you some throw you some line out there in the water and pull off a little bit, and then just crank your motor up and start idling down through there, and the more it goes off, you get a little faster, and idle down through there pretty fast at about 100 yards, and after you get it way behind the boat, but heck, I've went 200 or 300, 400 yards behind before, and when you wind it up, it's pretty dang straight.
Yeah.
It takes all that twisting and not, you know, out of the equation, and you got to have a new piece of line on there.
That's right.
And it'll fish good for a trip or two, and then next thing you know, when you lay it down when you lay your bait down on the boat floor or the deck, and that line goes running around with you, you better get it in the water and stretch it.
That's right.
Because it's fixing to give you trouble. you'll draw back the cast, and there'll be about 50 yards of it go out in one time.
Mhm.
And there you go.
Jumps off that spool, don't it?
Jumps off that spool. It surely does, Mike, without a doubt. And then, we just like a bait caster, you're throwing it, and it's straight off and straight on. Well, you got a bait that when you're casting a jig or a spinner bait that has a tendency to, excuse me, to twist for you out there as it's going out, then you'll notice in a trip or two that son of a gun, that line's awful twisted. I got 2 railing rods right now that I fished with last Friday night that I need to stretch the lines on. Because it got them curls in it. When it gets slack, you don't never see that, when you've got tension on your bait. But when you don't have that tension, it's like when Mike backlashes and he pulls that backlash back off his reel, well, it looks like a spring. Now, once you get the weight of your bait on that line, it straightens back out, but it's still twisted. So cut the bait off and, drag it behind the boat out through there for a little bit and wind it back in and start all over.
Yeah.
So, because them dang backlashes is aggravating, especially in the dark and at night, and even in the daytime. They're not good at any time really. So
No.
but there is, like I said, the best way we found to keep that line straight is put her behind the boat and idle out through there, pretty fast little clip, drag it a little bit, and wind it in, tie your bait on, see how it works.
Oh, yeah. It's hip at 100%.
Oh, I agree, without a doubt. So anyway, I brought Chandler my camera over here, and that blame thing, when I put it in the briefcase, I guess it was Sunday afternoon, I had it in the back seat, and I put it in the briefcase, and I didn't even think to look about the battery charge on it, so I brought him a camera with a dead battery. So hopefully we'll give him a few more minutes here, and maybe we'll have enough battery power to show what little bit of film we got. Let's see that reel, Mike.
Which one?
Yeah, the bait caster.
Bait
Yeah.
caster.
Yeah, and Mike, what's a fella like you doing with a reel like this anyway?
Well, it just so happened when they had the sports show over at Clinton Highway there at Expo Center.
Yeah.
And I come up through there, and the guy was arguing with the other guy about a reel.
Yeah.
And was trying to Jew him down on it. And that was on Sunday, and they was getting ready to close up. And he finally took around there and said, I'll give you 25. He said, no, I want 30. He said, we'll split the difference at 27. And he said, okay. So he handed him the reel, and there was one more laying there, and I got it, and I said, I'll take that for the same thing. So I got it to put on the flipping stick.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot lighter than the bigger casting reels, and you don't have, 10, 12 yards of line's all you'll use on a flipping stick anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing about it.
Yeah.
And besides that, I got one of my others, I got braided line on. So, in case I go somewhere where I need braided line, then I can just swap the reel and don't have to tread the reel up with a different line,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff on it. But yeah.
Okay, well, it's a 5-bearing reel.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's,
Garcia reel.
Yeah, Abu Garcia, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. It's
Yeah.
6.4 to 1 gear ratio.
Yeah.
And it is really, it's definitely light.
Oh, yeah.
And there ain't no two ways about it.
Yeah. It's the same as a Revo.
Pretty smooth.
Guarantee you. But yeah, I got a couple of them low profiles there that I put on flipping sticks to cut the weight down on it, you know.
Yeah.
And you don't, like I say, you don't use much line anyway on flipping stick.
Well, if we make a trip before we take off down to Dale Hollow, or even if we're down there, I always cast right-handed anyway. So, you know, having that left-handed wines reel that I bought
Yeah.
didn't change a thing.
No.
I don't have.
Or
I mean,
casting
the
part.
handles over here is the only
Yeah.
different. You still casting it on the
Oh yeah.
natural
Yeah, you're still doing
wrist action, and like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, if you don't, you know, if you're trying to throw these bait casters flat-handed, you'll never get used to them.
No.
You'll take it home, throw it behind the door, and say, "I'll never fish with that thing again,"
Yeah. No.
and it'll still have the backlash in it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's.
But
I tried it and I couldn't get used to it. Left-hand wind there.
well,
throwing it out
I
there
still
and-
find myself doing, doing this way with
doing
the rod.
rod that way and holding
I'm
on.
holding the handle, yeah,
Holding
but
the
I'm
handle.
getting better at it. But what it's
Yeah.
helping me do is my shoulder gets to bother me. My left shoulder holding, you know, doing this and that heavy rod and the bait and
Oh well.
so now I can keep it in my right hand and wind it with my left hand, and I've got, you know, I'll pick up the right hand wind, throw it out there, put the rod in my left hand, and you know, because after 2 or 3 hours, my left shoulder's just about gone. Now I can lay that rod down, pick up the left hand wind, and nothing to wind. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, so it has helped me a whole lot. And to be able to take that weight, you know, all I'm touching is the reel handle
Yeah.
the other way. And but with one of these, you know, on the rod, then I got the reel and the weight of the rod and the weight of the bait and all that kind of stuff. And I like to rent myself up there back a couple of months ago. I picked that dang 3/4 ounce jig up, and shoot, my arm was, it was gone. Yeah, about 30 minutes or an hour of that, and it was over. And I put the rod in the box, and I told Bill, I said, I can't handle that 3/4 ounce jig head. I said, my shoulder won't do it. So anyway, getting that left-handed wind reel gives me something. What I was doing was pick up a spinning reel, wind left-handed, you know, wind it with my left hand. And that would I lay the bait caster down, get that spinning reel, and turn the handle with the left hand and fish it, you know, and my left shoulder didn't bother me. And then you know, once we get into fishing out there in that 30 foot of water, well, I put the spinning reel up and kept trying to battle it, fish with this dang right-handed and that heavy rod. And then when I got that left-handed wind the other day, why, it gave me something I can lay that rod down, that right-hand wind, and grab up the left-handed wind reel, and it's just nothing, you know. So it's really helped me. But that's a good feeling reel right there.
Oh yeah, that's a nice little reel.
Yeah, it sure is. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Especially for $27.
Yeah, for $27, yeah, you done pretty good.
Yeah.
But
I bought that one from Willie there down there that time. Harriman, you remember? And,
yeah,
it wasn't a Rebo. It was one of them make-believes. It's a pretty good little reel, but it does fine for a flipping stick. But you know, when I seen that for $27, if he'd had another one, I'd probably bought 2 or 3 more of them. You know.
right. Yeah, I got you.
He didn't have it. But now Garcia, I tell you what, we've got some of them old red reels
Yeah.
laying around, and black ones and stuff like that, and still good reels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you know, as far as durability, they're one of the toughest reels out there on the market, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And you know, they've been through a lot of things. They've changed the bushings to bearings, and then they put the bearings inside the spools, and then they had to deal with the level wind would kick out of gear, and when you'd start winding it, then it'd come back over and catch back in gear and stuff. But they help realign everything. You know, they've come up with a lot of different innovations on the reels, trying this and trying that, and but yeah, they still got a pretty durable reel. I ain't no telling how many miles of thorns on some of them reels I got.
Yep. I mean, I'm like you, you know. Got, I don't know how many reels.
Them green,
back in the
them
tray,
green,
you
yeah.
know.
Them old green ones I got there back in 78, or the ones that come out 4600s, they come out with that thumb bar on it. And I bought 5 of them at that one time, and I got 3 of them sold, you know. And
Yeah.
Still got 2 of them, and they still just lay right in there, gassing and winding all the time. But now I think they was 5.2 or something at the time, which that's pretty good. And, you know, some of these newer ones, you know, 8, 10 to 1, 7 to 1, or something like that. But
Yeah.
they've changed around.
Oh, heck, they've got them now that's just, I mean, shucks, they're faster than grease lightning.
Yeah, they ain't making them like some of them old deep sea reels where you got a gear shifter on the side.
Yeah. They have got some fast reels out right now. That's no doubt about it. You know, and we've, heck, seen a lot of improvements on fishing reels. Dad, you know, his first fishing bait caster, one we remember going with him there was a Shakespeare, and it had that old rainbow line on.
Oh yeah,
Cloth line,
yeah.
and it's just about like braided line nowadays.
Yeah.
But that's what he had, and then he bought one of those ambassadors. What is it, red one?
Yeah, old red 5500.
Ambassador, and had I think that was a heading rod that he bought.
Yeah.
And you know, it was about 6.5, 7 foot long, and so yeah, it just grew as fishing grew. You know, I mean, heck.
Some of them old reels we had when you didn't have no way to kick it out of gear. Whenever you throwed it out, the handle spun backwards.
Yeah.
And didn't have no kick out on it or nothing. Then you
Handle
wind it
spun,
back in.
yeah.
And then I remember talking about that first reel that Papa bought over there at Fort Mountain, and stuff there that he ordered out of the catalog. Fluger Supreme. It had a button in the middle of the handling, and you pushed it in, and it kicked it out of gear. And they thought that was the greatest thing in the world, because you didn't have to worry about that handle spinning when you throwed it out there.
Yeah.
Seemed like he said it cast twice as far as one of them others and put it in gear. But yeah, they've been a lot of innovations on these reels. They sure have.
No doubt about it. The machines that make the gears and stuff has just you know, they're so close tolerance nowadays. I mean, you know, everything's in. I asked an old machinist there the other day. I said, you know, how close do you guys deal with? He said, I said, a human hair. He said, shucks, no, we split that 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
You know, and I said, what? And he said, yeah. I said, dang. So anyway, but that is close tolerance, you know, and these real manufacturers anymore's got the machines and stuff, the lathes and the boring machines and stuff. right on, you know, it's
Oh,
real
yeah.
close.
Yes, sir.
And so you don't have a lot of play in the spool running back and forth and this, that, and the other. So, good deal. Good deal. All right, Chandler, you ready? You going to be able to show that film? If you can't, you can't. Yeah. There we go. Okay, folks. I'm glad you showed that. Just let that hang right there. That is one of those H-18s that Reynolds has got down there at his place, and that's you need to check that boat out. Good looking boat, Mike. You and I went around that thing real close.
Yeah, it's ready to go fishing.
And it's ready. I think it's got a 115 on it, and it's got the C deck on the inside.
Trolling motor's done on it.
Trolling
I think
motor,
it's got some depth finders on it.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
lake ready.
That's right.
It's ready to go, and both of those are still available. He's got putting a jack plate on that center console. Told me they were working on that down there today, and I think it's a 19 on the center console. A 190B is what the numbers are on it. He's got a bullet boat that's coming off the line just any day. So be
21
looking.
or 19?
I think it's a 21.
21.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. He's hoping to get it maybe next week. So, you'll just have to stay on top of it there when he gets the thing, because there's already two people wanting it, you know.
Yeah,
and
it comes with the motor.
yeah, so be prepared for that. It's going to come around here possibly next week or the week after for sure. You want to keep up with that if you're interested in a new bullet. Let's see.
The only thing you need to do is that, put gas in it if you can afford it.
Yeah. But do get on their website if you've got something else you want to look at. I really like my trolling motor, and I know Mike likes his, and he's got that self-deploy on his. What is it?
Minn Kota?
Yeah, the Minn Kota. And it comes in handy with him up there launching his boat, and the thing just falls out there, and he calls it right back to the ramp when he gets his truck parked and all that, and it's really a nice motor. But I like my trolling motor. I don't have all that other stuff on it that I know of. It may have it, and I just don't know how to get it pulled up or whatever. You know, some of them guys says you can do something with your cell phone, but I don't know that. But I do like my trolling motor. It's got one thing we did have to do, and those motors are really designed for a lot of daytime fishing. If you're watching the pro circuit, they've got one of those Lowrance motors on about every boat, and the dang up in the head of that thing has got six different blue lights. I will need to take you a picture of that one of these days. But the first night we went out night fishing with it, I said, "Whoa, gosh almighty, Mike, this is not going to work."
Like somebody putting a flashlight in your eyes.
Yeah. Every time you hit the start button on that thing, all them blue lights up in the top of it, and I said, "Golly bum." So anyway, we went to putting black tape over those blue lights, and right now we've got it in pretty good shape.
Yeah, fairly good.
We've got one little arrow there that lets us know which way it's pointed.
Mine was the same way, not only on the motor where it mounts down, but on the paddle itself too.
Yeah.
It had four lights, I believe, up the paddle there, and I had to put tape on them and let the light shine out underneath the tape, or where you could see which light was coming on, whether you put it on anchor or whatever, constant or whatever, but I had to put it over on that main frame over there where you turn it on to dim it down where, you could see, because, yeah, they're bright, them LEDs is awful bright.
Yeah. So, other than that, the thing, my trolling motor, like I said, I like it. It's I haven't had it wide open yet,
Mm-hmm.
and these new trolling motors, if you're running a 12-volt system, a 24-volt system, or a 36-volt system, one motor will do it all. It just depends on how much. If you want to run on 3 batteries and have 109 pounds of thrust, or you can drop down to 2 batteries and have 80, I think it's 80 pounds of thrust. So on 24 volt, and so you got all them choices to make. But like I said, Mike likes his, and it's got its advantages, and I like mine, and it's got its advantages, and so, but we're struggling to keep them running.
Well, I turned around down there, and the guy had 4 batteries in his boat. He had 1 battery for the big motor, and 3 batteries for the 36 volt.
Yeah.
And now Glenn's got that lithium battery down there that's 36 volts, so you just got 1 battery for that trolling motor, and then you got the other battery for the big motor.
Right.
And all the hardware, your depth finder and all that stuff, that you're going to wire in there with the big motor to have plenty of power for that stuff.
Right.
Keep it off the trolling motor. But, if you're going to go with one of them motors and try to go with 3 batteries, one for the other, man, that's 4 batteries. You go to filling the weight of 80 pounds apiece, them big rascals. I said, yeah, you go. You've done loaded 2 or 3 people in the boat.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's a fact, and so it's that's what you have to deal with. I really don't know what the price of the lithium, if you had the lithium setup, what it really would cost you.
Yeah.
The 2 batteries, and one for your big engine, one for your trolling motor, and heck, you could set that 1 battery. It only weighs 28 pounds. You could put it up in the nose of the boat if you wanted to.
Oh yeah. Well, the price has come down some from what they was. But I remember the first one that I heard priced was like $1,800, and then I think they've come down quite a bit since then. And that was just for a regular 12 volt,
Yeah.
But it didn't weigh but 5 or 6 pounds or something.
Yeah. Well,
Look that big either, but
I'm, what I've seen, they 28 pounds in that 1 battery. Like I said, it's either 36, 24, or 12.
yeah.
And but the deal is, it's a charging system on it.
Yeah.
But I just see something for you to research on it, Mike, and see what's going on with it. Get to the bottom line. How much, just how much is it going to cost, and but that is what I heard was that the charging system was where the big bucks was at.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Don't doubt that a bit.
You need to check into that. You can lighten your boat up there about 2 batteries.
There's a difference in the acid battery and the Optima batteries on them chargers too,
Yeah.
And so.
I don't know. Well, I know all I know is you got to have the battery power in. With all these new electronics that you got 4 depth finders or fish finders, locators on your boat, 2 up front, 2 on the dash, and some of them's got 16-inch screens. Yeah, you got to have some power.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. It's so you got a big more than likely a pretty good size, a big battery in the back of the boat to handle all of your electronics.
Yeah.
Then you got your fish pole, your anchor poles on the back of the boat, and nowadays they got them with charging systems coming out of those also. So, but you go to look and man, you use a lot of juice.
You sure do.
You gotta have some. You gotta have some back. You gotta have some batteries. To take care of that. And we got some good night fishing lights. I think we got probably the best they are. In those aluminum frames from up in Johnson City.
Yeah.
They're awful good lights. I'm tickled to death with them. And we've had several different brands over the years.
Yes, sir.
Without a doubt, and we'll just have to keep plugging on with it. And I know a lot of the boats we see right now at night up there, they've got the rub rail.
Yeah.
Is got the black lights in the rub rail, and they've even got 2 or 3 pontoon boats running around up there that change it from red to green to blue.
Oh yeah.
To white and so on and so forth. So it's a good thing. Let's see, what else was it?
Think you got any charge on your battery enough now?
I don't know.
About 10
We
minutes.
just got 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Chandler, you think you can show that film? Let's do it now. Get it over with and let Mike start with a clean slate next month. On the line, Bill.
Yes, sir, buddy. Yes, sir.
All right.
Out the first in here,
Yeah.
and he was on the bottom, so
Yeah.
we know where they're at. When they're on the bottom, we know where they're at.
Yeah, that's right,
Yes,
Bill.
sir, old buddy. That's a nice little heavy fat fish.
It sure is, buddy. Get him back in the water and let's get going here.
Yes, sir. Put him back over there.
Yeah,
Old
there you
Steve
go.
got another good little largemouth, buddy.
Yeah, sure
Yeah,
is, Bill.
He's a good heavy little
Yeah.
feller, buddy, but he'll grow up to be a crackerjack.
That's right, Bill. Let's get him in the water and get us another. And what do you think?
I'm a farm.
Yeah, we're done. We're done 2 ahead already.
That's right, old buddy.
That's the way you catch them, Bill. 2 at a time, ain't
That's right. That's what me and old Steve done there, son. And he had one and I had the other.
That's exactly right, buddy.
Yeah,
That's a
buddy.
good deal.
When you
Hold
catch them 2 at a time, they really add up,
They,
Steve.
they do, Bill. They do. Grab that smallmouth out there and let me get you a picture with him.
I'll tell you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Come here, boy.
Yes, sir.
Come here, son.
Yeah, netted one, then by George, netted Bill's.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, Billy boy.
Old Billy boy caught a good smallmouth there.
Sure has, buddy. All right, get him back in. We'll get the largemouth.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Yeah, buddy.
I like to catch them 2 at a time.
I do too, Bill. I do too. Dadgum, that's the way you
They're smallmouth, but the thing about it is, he's a pretty good size, but he's gonna get bigger. There's the good part about it.
Yeah, that's right, Bill.
Yes, sir.
All right, back in the water with him.
Here
We'll
we
try
go.
to get another.
There we go, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Steve finally got one in the boat.
Yeah.
Nice fish.
Yeah, it is, Mike. I'll take a dozen of them right there, old buddy.
Yeah.
Sure would. All right, we'll get him back in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Full like a freight train.
Same on what, black and blue?
Yeah.
Black and blue. Okay.
All right. What do you think, Mike?
Oh, that's a nice smallmouth.
Huh?
Another nice smallmouth there.
Yeah. All right, back in the water he goes, and let's get another. And how's that?
Okay.
Pretty good?
Fairly good.
All right, back in the water he
Oh,
goes.
ain't good. Hold on.
Okay. Is it my light or yours?
Leave it yours. Yeah, that's probably a decent picture.
Okay.
Probably glare on. Back in there.
All right, we're back here. What'd you think of that, Mike?
Yeah, them, out of all the different baits that I tried, I had a hold of one fish. He pulled it off, had a few bumps, but I think them was all red eyes. It seemed like that black and blue deal there was the only thing we could get a hit on.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it sure seemed that way.
Well, I'll just about agree with you. They sure was hard to get to do something, Mike. That's a fact. No doubt about it. For sure.
We fished, what, 6 different places there before you ever even
Yeah,
put one in the boat.
that was it. For sure.
I don't know what it was about them. They just didn't want anything we sold to start off with. And you finally caught that first one on that black and blue.
Yep.
I had a hold of that one and got 3 or 4 cranks on it, and it come loose, and we didn't get another strike off that place till we moved on up the lake there. Fished a couple of spots there, and then finally hit one spot there that had 2 or 3 fish on it.
Right. Well, anyway, we've got about 4 or 5 minutes left. Remember our sponsors, folks: Edgemore Outdoors, Tim's Tires, Reynolds Racing and Marine, IOUE. Thank our union brothers for helping us keep the show going. Do be safe out this weekend on the water. And had several, 3 different boating accidents last weekend.
Yeah.
So do be safe,
Yeah.
and be on the lookout for hazards that may be approaching you or whatever, So remember that, and we're going to sign off. God bless you all, and we'll see you next week. Hey folks, here at Tim's Tires, there's the times that they're open. The day, that's 5 days a week. They're open from 8 to 12:30 on Saturdays. All right, folks, we're inside here in the warehouse. Just wanted to give you a quick look at all the tires and stuff they got. And here we are. There's some 4-wheeler tires, lawnmower tires, just a mixture of about any kind of tire you want. So keep that in mind. Then here we get into the light truck, automobiles, that kind of thing. So just walk through here and give you a quick look at what they've got in stock here. I mean, it's it's just, I don't know, man. They must be a couple of thousand tires in here right now, if not more. Sizes, shapes. You truckers, you know the word. This is the place to get your tires for your trucks. And these over here, getting a little bigger sizes. Light trucks, heavier automobiles, this kind of thing. And as you can just see back through there, it's just, heck, I don't know, this building's probably about 300 feet, one end to the other, and they're wall to wall. Remember Tim's Tires, folks. That's down here on Highway 27 on your way into Harriman, and get the best deals they're going. So give them a call, price check, whatever you want to, and if you want a special tire that they might not have, you could, they'll definitely get it for you. Tim's Tires. Let people know what we represent.
That's what we're all about. We do try to do an honest day's work for the people, and we've got operators from all over the DOE sites, TDA sites, the outside contractors. We're just about everywhere you see a heavy piece of equipment, good chance that you'll see an operating engineer on it, rather it be Barnhard. I'd like to mention them, All Crane, and all of them that's signatory to us. We have over 100 contractors that's signatory to us, so I definitely appreciate those guys all the way in Chattanooga, Kingsport, Tullahoma,